Hello. So I've been doing all of these little tarot lifting things, the turning one card and doing a reading. And I haven't done one of my little videos about or guidance for life after having an idea suddenly and wanting to talk about it. And today I've decided I'm going to make a quick, well, not that quick film about the line. And the line can be mistaken for ghosting, but they're different things. So let's just cover ghosting quickly. Ghosting has become just like it's an epidemic, isn't it? Of people who decide that rather than face up to a feeling or a need, to just drop what started off as something emotionally intense and just leave it and leg it. It's emotional immaturity and or emotional cowardice. So it's so easy now to change your mind about things and about who you want to be with and who you want to be around. And it happens romantically and it can happen in friendships as well. But ghosting is much more of a cowardice or of an immaturity of emotions, which means rather than face up to how you're feeling and try and work your way through it, you would rather just leg it and then make some kind of excuse about how it was much better to just leave it. There's no such thing as being much better to just leave it if the other person was healthy and kind. No, you're just a coward. But that's fine. Women and men are doing it all of the time. It's happening a lot. Fuck them. There's nothing can be done apart from rest assured. Most of them at some point will try and make contact with you again. Fuck them. That's all I'm going to say about that. But the line interests me. And I think if you're in any way on the spectrum or neurodivergent, you are more likely to be a person who takes far too long to reach the line, right? So the line is when you have got a behavior in you where you are a lover, a helper, someone who wants to be there, someone who usually in a friendship relationship, familial relationship, you're the one who is always there. You help, you will make sure the other person is okay, right? And then one day, usually far too late, something happens and it doesn't seem even that big. It can be big, but it doesn't seem that big. And suddenly they've gone too far. And you literally have a physical and or mental reaction at the thought of even being around them again. And the reason it's different to ghosting is you've usually overlooked, been okay about, stepped back from not great behaviors and thought, oh, it's given them an excuse for it, or there's been enough payback in other ways that you felt it's still a give and take on some level. Usually it hasn't been as much of a give and take as you thought it was. You've put a lot more of yourself into it. And often when it's the line, you have given yourself emotionally, you've helped, and often you have given time where the other person hasn't. Or if they have given time, they've used that time in your company to completely make everything about themselves. So the line is that moment where it's sometimes the moment happens and you don't even realize it's happened. You go, oh, it's another one of those times when I want to step away because they've upset me so much, or they've overlooked my input into their life, or they've taken me for granted. I'm not going to talk to them for a while. And then you find you never want to go there again. And often another reason that will happen, and people go, oh my God, this is someone I've known a long time, or this is someone in my family, and they've always been like this. Why did I reach the line? And you reach the line because as we grow and develop, right, if the other person repeats behaviors and they don't grow and develop, A, they don't want you to develop, and B, it's too many circles the same. And eventually there's just one too many and you need to walk away because that circuit will just keep dragging you down because you're going to the same place when you're not equipped for that place anymore because you've learned. And I find a lot of people, when they reach the line with someone, the person they've reached the line with isn't developing. They stay the same and you're not the same anymore. So you literally cannot. It can make you feel sick thinking about being around someone who you've always been around or you've been around a long time. Now, it can just be a shorter friendship or relationship or familial thing, but it also can be a lifelong thing where one day you reach the line. And sometimes explaining why you reach that line would make the other person go absolutely crazy because they'd have forgotten they did those things, or they've blocked them, or why didn't you tell me at the time? So you cannot even talk to them about it. And that's where people could say, oh, you ghosted them. But it's a different thing. If someone's unreasonable and impossible to talk to because they see something so different from you and they won't appreciate you trying to explain it to them, you've reached the line. And the amazing thing about that line is it doesn't reverse. And even if you think, oh, I'm really annoyed with that person at the minute, but if I just go and take a breather and I just get away from them and let someone else put up with them or handle them for a while and then I'll go back, what happens is the same behavior manifests and soon you hit the same wall. And then you are hampering your own development as a human being by keep walking back in to that cauldron of bullshit. So the line is really, really of interest to me because it's one of those phenomenon where the other person won't understand and they'll blame you because you'll have been making exceptions or being kind towards someone, thinking they've realized that you're making exceptions for them. They'll just think they're all right. That's just how they are. That's just how I am. And why have you suddenly done this? They're like, you're mental that you suddenly done this. No, it's a build-up. It's a huge build-up. And the final straw can be so small. It can be explosive, but usually it's so small. And the other person will go, they just turned their back on me. There's no point explaining. So the difference is if something isn't working for you in life with someone and you need to tell them and you don't, and you leave them emotionally hanging, yeah, you're ghosting them. But if you have to walk off because whatever you say will make no difference, they'll just think that you are the bad guy, that's when you've reached the line. I reached the line a few times in my life. And it's usually I have let people get away with absolute murder. So they are utterly bereft when I don't take any more suddenly. And I've spoken to a bunch of my friends, 2 friends today, in fact, but many more about that. And yeah, the line, it's mad. It's a thing. So just remember, when you reach the line, get out. It won't change. Once you've reached that line, you've reached the line. And anytime you spend time with them now will be non-genuine. You will be stepping back down a level to be around them, and it will make you utterly miserable. There you go. My talk about the line.